The hardest part about the sinful nature is that it's disintegrative. And I can tell you, as a 60-year-old man, I've probably suffered from MPD most of my life. Given what I'm learning about narcissism, I can tell by the number of relationships that I've had that one way or another I've found problems with people that have enabled me to diminish the relationship, devalue the person, and diminish the relationship. Now, trying to fix the issues and all this other stuff is one thing, but if it's costing the relationship, that's devaluing. That's devaluing. And devaluing the relationship to the point of discarding the person, has all the traits of narcissism. And many of you have done this. You've devalued people, you've hurt people, you've broken them. For what end? Because you realize that person, you thought that person that you fantasized, you put them in a fantasy, thinking they were a cure, when they weren't a cure at all. They were just a person like yourself, trying to find a relationship, and you put them in a situation where they're at the mercy of what you concluded about who they were and what their capabilities were. And that wasn't fair at all. You became the judge, the jury, and the executioner, and left these people at the mercy of your discard. I've done it. I know how it works. I know how the sinful nature works. That's why I became a Christian. I wanted to escape my sinful nature as quickly as I could. I wanted to become a more wholesome person. And coming to Christ helped me to see that there was an evil inside of me that I was at the mercy of myself, and therefore from that was punishing people who were trying to build a relationship with me because something didn't suit, or this didn't suit, or that didn't suit. And either I would be discarded by way of their frustration of me and the judgments I was making and the decisions I was making, carelessness, nomadicness, disappearing, overspending. I used to overspend money on biblical literature. When I was doing my doctorate, that was enough to drive anyone around the bend. But she hung in there. She gave up in the end. Excuse me. Viewers, I know how all this works. Pride, conceitedness, jealousy, insecurity, overconfidence, irrational decision making. All these things that leave people at the mercy of your decision making. And it's not fair. They end up discarded, broken, hurt, possibly partly their fault, but mostly your fault or my fault. That's how this works. We try and convince ourselves a lot of the time that we are not the problem. Unfortunately, most of the time, no. Most of the time, we are. Most of the time, we are. And until we come to a miraculous realization of the fact that we are, we're at the mercy of producing and reproducing the same cycle over and over again. We'll find something to devalue or diminish the credibility of the person that we're with. We'll find something. There's always something. And of course, we won't be happy until we get to a devalue situation. That's how MPD works. If it's not the person themselves, it's the child that's involved in interfering. If it's not the child, it's another problem, an addiction or alcoholism. Or it's our own carelessness wearing at the person that's trying to have a relationship with us, or it even can be over devotion. A lot of times we over devote and expect something back in return that is unfair. By our level of commitment, we psychologically think that the other person should produce the same performance instead of accepting them as they are, only to realize that not everyone's the same. I've had beautiful, lovely women, warts and all, that tried to hang in there and I wouldn't let them. I discarded them. And I look back over my life and I go, yes, I most definitely had an issue. And I think they had every right, if they felt inclined to, despite their shortcomings, to call me a narcissist, because I love bombed them, immediately found something to be a problem if something rose up, which was devaluing, and then ultimately discarding or being discarded as a result. It's confronting and very hard when you come to the point where you realize that you have hurt people, good people. Even as a Christian, you get to my age and you realize you've got all the information and all the knowledge, only to realize that the probability of you being the problem all along was in the high percentage category. And that's confronting, and that's really frightening. And you have to keep working at yourself. You have to keep trying to understand where people don't calibrate with you or align or harmonize with you, and hang in there or leave them alone. We make people, we come into relationships and trauma bond people and then run them on that trauma bond until they got nothing left. We love bomb, we devalue, we discard, and we lose another person that we possibly could have spent the rest of our life with.